What happens when a couple of friends deep dive into silly Star Wars thoughts and questions you never knew you needed answered?
Do you think that Shmi and Qui-Gon did the Funky Town dance?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Oh, yeah. 100% that was her being like, come on, let's go to bed, you know?
She was coming to invite us.
Yeah.
Join us for some casual conversation on the Cantina Chat podcast featuring Jordan and Sean.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Cantina Chat podcast. We're going to be doing The Force Awakens today.
Are you awake?
I'm awake.
All right.
So is the Force.
Just checking.
It's here.
All right.
We just rewatched this one, and it's a solid movie, man. It's pretty good.
It's my favorite out of the sequels.
Yeah, I think this one, I feel like the easiest way to describe it, and I don't know if it rings true to you the same way or not, but I kind of feel like this is the perfect movie for a non-Star Wars fan to get introduced to Star Wars.
Yeah, I think so.
Now that all of them are out, anyway. Yeah. It's a solid movie. There's a lot of action. There's not much in terms of like deep plot and all that stuff, but it's just a good, normal, funny movie, and you don't need to know anything about Star Wars to enjoy it.
Well, it's the first movie that was produced for Star Wars via Disney.
Yeah.
So it has that comedy that every Disney movie will have, whether it's more child comedy or, you know, whatever, just comedy in general.
Right.
This is the first time that we see this style of comedy in it. And it's almost every scene, there's some sort of comedic value that's in it.
Absolutely.
So it's it you know, Star Wars, like the originals and prequels had some comedic values in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they usually...
but they were very either faint or more adulted comedy in a way.
Yeah, and I noticed that like those movies in particular, they used a lot of individual characters. So you would have like one person or maybe two people, a duo, that are like the designated like comic relief.
Right.
Whereas in this, it's everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, like Finn is definitely the funniest one in The Force Awakens to me.
Yeah.
But his interactions with everyone were funny.
Yeah, I mean, everybody he talked to was some sort of a little bit of comedy in it. The scene where Rey was trying to fix the hyperdrive.
Yeah.
He was going back and forth with BB-8 over, you know, him being a rebel or, you know, or a resistance fighter and all this stuff, and BB-8 knows he's not, and so he's like, help me, you know, and he's like, they're going back and forth doing their thing. You know, like you have that.
Yeah.
And that's what Finn, give me a second. That's what Finn delivers in almost every single scene.
Yeah.
Now, he does have scenes where he's more serious, obviously, because you have to have that.
Right.
And I feel like as you go deeper into the sequels, it slowly becomes more serious.
I agree, but they put other characters in there to do that more now.
To take it,
to take that spot.
Right.
And like in this one, especially Chewie, like in the originals and stuff like that, he might have had a couple funny moments here and there, but overall, Chewie was like just like the big scary, you know, sidekick or whatever. Like he's roaring at the enemy, he's doing whatever. But in this, every single time, except for the very end of the movie, where tragedy happens, every single moment of Chewie was hilarious.
Right.
He was used throughout this movie. He was like, like every time you see it was so good. And I'm like, oh man.
When Han and Chewie get the Millennium Falcon back. And what were the two pirate crews, or the two crews?
Yeah, there was the Guavian Death Gang, and I don't remember. It's another one.
Gosha.
Oh, Kashi Gang, something.
Oh my goodness.
We're really close. We're dancing all around it.
I feel like we are.
It's Gachi Gang or something like that. And the Guavian Death Gang is the guy that called the first order.
Anyway, so when those two came on, and the one guy was like, you know, what was it? Crap.
He was saying that like, you're swindling us. We know that you spent our money. I want my money back. And then he's like, we know that, you know, Ganji Club.
Ganji Club. Yeah.
He's like, Ganji Club. You know, that's all we got to do. Just repeat the lines.
Yeah.
And then
we'll get there. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, he was like, you know, you did that to us twice and them once or whatever.
Right.
And
what was the second time?
Yeah, right. She was like, or Han was like, what do you? I always pay you guys back or whatever. And she was like, you know, like whatever. But yeah, it's like that kind of stuff. You know, you have a lot of, and especially when it comes from Chewie. One, it's freaking great. You know, and two, it's not something that you saw a lot of. Like, it's, you know, like you said. So
I think my favorite like joke moment with Chewie was when he got shot and the doctor was healing him in the resistance base.
Yeah.
She's bandaging up his arm and she's like treating him like a toddler, you know. She's like, "Oh, you must be so brave," you know, and he's like,
he's like telling his battle hero story to her, like trying to swindle.
I'm pretty brave. Yeah,
you know what? Yeah, it's crazy.
Sure am.
So there I was. There was people everywhere, and
shots firing all around me.
I didn't know what to do. I threw Han in a corner to keep him safe. I was his human shield or Wookiee shield. You know,
that's pretty great.
Yeah, it's funny, but no. I mean, this whole movie's good. I mean, you know, in the very beginning, there was no comedic at all. Because as soon as you open up, you see Poe trying to get the plans from the map from the one guy. I can't remember his name at all.
Lor Santeca, the old guy. Yeah.
You know, so like immediately you're there, and then the First Order comes, BB-8 comes through to like warn them.
Right.
As soon as the First Order drops, it's just nothing but crazy.
But then they used Poe in that moment to try to be the funny one because they go to interrogate him. And the moment they do, he's making jokes.
I talk first. You talk first.
It's already yeah.
You're right. There is that one.
They sprinkle that in with every character in this, and it's kind of throughout the whole thing, which I really enjoyed. But it's also just a very evidently different feel than the other movies.
Oh, it really
in my opinion.
Because I mean, you had in like A New Hope, which is like the Force Awakens is
it's
carbon copy of
plot wise, for sure.
So like in A New Hope, all this stuff's going down. You have R2 and 3PO kind of back and forth gabbering, which is I guess your comedic value between them.
Yeah,
it's not like as hardcore as what you see now. But like, so you have that little bit, but it's nothing but pure chaos because with the Empire storming the ship and all this stuff going on, everybody's dying.
Right.
You come into here, it's the same opening. You have the First Order massacring these civilians.
Yeah.
And then you do have Poe and I don't know, when I watched it in the theaters, I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
It's hilarious.
Because like Kylo gets down, he's like menacing looking, you know, he's a Sith, whatever, he's all black. He has the voice, his mask on, changes his voice, all this stuff, you know, mini Vader, basically, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, so that, you know, you have this guy in front of you. And then he does who talks first? You talk first? I talk first? How do you want to do this?
Yeah.
You know? And
he's just making light of this whole thing. You've been captured. You're going to get tortured.
Right.
And you're just joking about the whole thing.
Too, you know, that was a big thing. He wanted to stall. And he's like, I can't understand you with the whole breathing apparatus.
Got a lot going on right here with this.
So there was the comedic value right there. But
absolutely.
That was so strong of that. And like you said, it's all through the movie. And it's great. Like, it's not bad.
I think so.
There's not a single spot where it's put where it's like, you shouldn't put that there, you know. So I like it. I'll tell you one thing that is freaking cool, and now we see Cal Kestis do it and stuff like that. Is when Poe initially took the shot at Kylo, and Kylo force froze the
actual
bolt
blaster
as
bolt,
well as him behind it. That is so freaking cool.
In the moment at that first time,
until Cal Kestis was.
Right. He has a very similar, like, slow down power, but it doesn't, like, fully stop.
No.
Like, Kylo's just put it in frozen mode.
Yeah,
like,
everything else is fine.
That was wildly cool.
But, like, the only time we ever saw anything similar was Cal Kestis.
Yeah.
But, like, when that came out, I was like, holy crap. Like, that is insane.
Very
There was
cool.
a fan-made little, movie of Vader beating the crap out of the Emperor. He got mad. I can't remember. I don't remember the whole. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I remember, like, he was like force choking the Emperor, and he was like, I mean, it was bad. Like, he was going to kill the Emperor right there, and clones came in, and they all had like the Gatling blasters.
Okay.
And so they're like lighting it up, and Vader froze all the shots in the air, and it was like hundreds of blaster bolts that were like just frozen. And
he did the Matrix.
Well, yeah, he like froze it all, and it was like all in front, like in between them, and the clones stopped because they were like, and he force pushed him back and killed all the clones. I was like, so like now we see it there. But honestly though, some of these fan movies that people make,
some of them are great.
They are like that.
Some of them are very funny too. There's a lot of the ones with the stormtrooper guards.
Yeah,
they're just in different places. There's like a whole series of them, and they're bantering back and forth. That's a really great series.
It's cool. I mean, I like to watch a lot of the fan stuff.
I do too.
I mean, there's some people have like the craziest skill,
like CG skill and
to
all
be able
that.
to do a lot of this stuff.
They
is
look
insane.
so realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's some that I'm like, that's better than some of them.
I know.
You know what I mean?
For real.
But yeah, so that one was cool. So like you see it after that, you know, and it's like, oh, that I saw that. But no, when Kylo froze the bolt, I was like, that is stupid.
I agree. I think that was one of my favorite
and
things
too. And
then
he released it after he took Poe to the ship.
Yeah.
And they destroyed all they murdered all the
civilians. Or whatever. Yeah.
He I guess concentration.
He lost his concentration.
And the bolt flew and hit the middle of the pylon.
I like that. Yeah.
I was like, that is freaking insane.
Yeah. And
he did it again. Like he froze Rey the same way.
Right.
When they were on Maz Kanata's planet.
Right.
Right. You know, so it's like that's just like an insane Force ability.
It's very cool.
That we never saw.
I do think it's kind of neat. Like, we haven't really been explicitly told anything like this, but the implication I've always had from the different movies and shows are that, like, Jedi seem to, I say Jedi, but Force users, including people like Kylo, they seem to have, like, specialties, you know, that they lean towards. You know, people like Ezra are, like, very in tune with animals.
Like some sort of advanced
sort of
power.
that, like their natural inclination is drawn to a specific kind of the Force, and it seems to be that like that's something you're especially gifted in this one particular area, and maybe not as much in another, and that's why you see some of these different things like Kylo stopping time around an object or even a person.
One single object, yeah.
And you know nobody else really does stuff like that. I think that's really cool. It's an interesting interpretation of the Force.
Yeah.
And not just everybody can do everything, and it's just a blanket of whoever wants to do it.
Right.
But I like that idea. I think it's really, really interesting. Yeah. But like both, I'd say Ezra and Ahsoka both seem like they kind of have a little bit of a tendency towards animals and like calming them down. Especially Ezra, he was always really good at
he did it with
instantly getting
cats,
animals.
Obviously the wolves.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were called.
Almost any kind of those big huge wolves. Yeah.
But it was cool. I mean,
Dooms or something.
Yeah. He did it with the, I can't remember.
Even the space whales, the Purgles at the end of the series.
There was like, one episode where they were going through
tons of animals.
He's they were like dark purple cat almost creatures, maybe not cats, but.
Oh yeah. Those like almost like lion type things that attacked them in the jungle or whatever.
He was able to calm the mother. Whenever he was going up against the Inquisitor.
I think stuff like that's really interesting because you just didn't really see. And maybe they can do it just as easily, but like I've never seen Yoda or Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon do some of those things. It just seems like certain people are naturally attuned to like a specific area, and I think that's cool. It feels a little bit more grounded, more like what that would probably be like in real life.
Vader's was breathing.
Vader's just choking though. Like he doesn't use lightning, but he's Force chokes everything. Sure. So like again, they all kind of have their own. The Emperor, you don't see him choking people. You just see him using lightning and stuff like that. I think that's just, it's one of those things.
What was Maul's?
Acrobatics and Force push.
That's
Force.
You're good, dude.
Yeah. They all definitely seem to me like they have a natural tendency towards specific things.
Savage was just ramming his head into people.
He was artificially boosted, so you know. He was as lame as a.
Still cool though.
He is cool.
Freaking amazing.
But he was just brute strength, combat capability.
Yeah.
I think he was as close to like, just you on steroids.
That's very true.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they just gave him fake powers, and they were like, "All right, you're good now.
Have fun, buddy."
How sad! Like when he died, and you saw like the
mist,
the like green magic come out, you know, and he just. And his whole body like deflated back to his little skinny form.
Went back to skinny little tiny dude. Yeah, dude, that was such a like crazy scene too in the Clone Wars when Maul and Sidious and Savage all fought.
One of my probably like my third favorite animated fight scene.
Yeah,
I really like that one a lot.
Yeah, it was good.
The Ahsoka Maul fight scene in season 7 is super good.
That's my number one for animated fights.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I would put that one up there against several of the live-action ones. Yeah. It's really good.
It was really good. I liked it.
Really good. They did a phenomenal job with the music on that scene, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of my favorites, for sure. I like that a lot. But, yeah, on getting back to Force Awakens.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's go ahead and... Boop.
Right. Things that looked cool. Kylo's whole deal. Like, I actually really like his helmet. I like his little vibes. Like they're a little Revan-esque. Like I think that was probably the idea was something.
It's like a mission to like Revan Invader.
Yeah,
so,
that was kind
like,
of
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny though that like his little temper tantrums. You know, I don't know why I think that's freaking hilarious. Like it's not like you know, like Sith are supposed to. Like they dwell off of hate and anger and all that stuff.
Right.
You know, all the emotions. That's what they use for their strength.
But
he went about it so different.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, he would. What was it when his lieutenant or captain, whatever, came up to him, like standing behind him, and it was like, hey, you know, they left and he had help with a girl or whatever. But like when he said that the droid and the guy got away, Finn. He turns around and he starts slashing the computers and he's just tearing everything up. And then he's like, oh, there was a girl. And then he like force chokes the guy and brings him to him. You know, I was like, you know, like there was another scene. It was later, right? When he smashes. Yeah, it was in episode 8 when he smashed his helmet into the the elevator. Yeah. Remember? Like
I know his rage is more like a toddler's temper tantrum.
It really is very like it's not. He doesn't let it build in fight and combat and to make himself stronger. He literally just like gets mad and does what a normal human does and just destroys something. You know, and it's like
straight up a tantrum.
Right, and it's like okay, that's cool. Like you're making it seem like he's more human than not, but like at the same time,
he also wasn't really a Sith. I mean, he was trained a little bit, and he was struggling to try to stay on the path.
Well, he kept talking in episode 7 when the scene when he was talking to Vader's melted helmet.
Yeah,
he was like, "I feel the light calling to me again. Help me, tell me what to do."
Yeah.
So like the whole time he's so conflicted.
He's very conflicted
on whether to stay in the path he's in with the dark side or to revert back to the light side and go back to good. Which obviously in episode 9 we see him.
Right.
Whatever.
What happens from that? Yeah.
And so it's like okay, like that just happens. Obviously, the only time it didn't happen was in episode 3.
It's funny because my opinion on him has kind of come all the way around. When we very first watched it, and episode 7 was the only movie that had come out. That, you know, first movie we see that I see Kylo, I see all these temper tantrums, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Kylo.
Right.
And I didn't like the temper tantrums. I didn't like how they were portraying all that.
Right.
In fact, I went so far as to my like stupid joke I would say to my friends and stuff at the time was always like, you know who my favorite Disney princess is now? Kylo Ren. Because to me, he was acting like a spoiled brat,
right?
You know, a little princess.
Right.
And then the longer the movies went out, I didn't really enjoy 8, and I really didn't enjoy 9. But the one thing I did was enjoy what happened to Kylo and his character arc throughout the series.
How he built,
and I ended up really appreciating Adam Driver.
Yeah. Well, Adam Driver as an actor,
great.
I don't know if you've seen his
I've seen him in other movies now.
He's really
very good.
Like, he's super good with like his emotional scenes, no matter what kind of emotion it is.
Right.
He is freaking phenomenal.
So you know that's exactly what they wanted him to do. You know, because of that. And it's one of those weird things where now when I watch 7 again and I see the temper tantrums and stuff, I do still think it's a little bit odd, but I don't hate it anymore.
No, I don't.
Yeah, and in the very beginning, I actually kind of did. I didn't like it very much. But
I didn't hate it. It was just for me, it was like a very odd,
a
very odd play.
I will say that I mean, I just jumping around a bit, but like one of the things that at the time I also have kind of changed my opinion on is the snow fight scene at the very end of the movie.
Dude,
it was really controversial at the time, and like I don't know what your take is on it, if you've got like a strong opinion one way or the other, but in the very beginning when we first watched it, I really didn't like the way anything happened in that scene either.
I liked it.
Like, the first time you saw it as well?
Even the first time I saw it, I didn't think it was bad.
But did you understand like the people's complaints, like what people were upset about?
The fact that a non-Force user activated a lightsaber and fought against a Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that, I mean, like that. I'm talking about like just the fight, like
the visuals and all that stuff.
Yeah, like those were great.
Yeah,
I liked the idea of where they were fighting, how they were fighting.
Right.
But the fact that a non-Force user was able, I mean, obviously you don't have to be a Force user to activate a lightsaber.
Right.
But like,
everybody was like, you know, Kylo should have just.
Should have obliterated
zero
him.
contest whatsoever.
And I do agree with that.
Yeah.
The reason being is, one, fighting with a lightsaber, I mean, you can use brute strength,
Sure.
which we saw Savage do and everything like that. Whatever, it's fine.
It's like Mando wielding the darksaber.
Mando wielding the darksaber.
He's fine, but it's not going to be good against a Jedi.
Ahsoka,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
Now, through the Mandalorian history, the darksaber is used to fight and wield against lightsabers and stuff like that.
Right.
But once again, they are also Mandalorians were battle tactic heavy.
Yes.
They knew how to do hand-to-hand combat. They fought Jedi for years, so they learned certain ways to be able to
exploit them with everything they did.
Right.
Their whole kits were designed to fight them specifically.
Beskar was can hold up against a lightsaber. They have the mini shields in their gauntlets.
Right.
Pop those up. That will deflect a lightsaber if it has to. The darksaber will obviously.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
so
like
the
it doesn't
cables,
matter.
like everything they had, flamethrowers. They developed all these things.
Exactly. So like
Jedi.
they knew. I mean, they knew how to what to do to combat the skills and tactics that a Jedi would use. So it's like that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, but like Finn, who has the only combat he has is with a blaster and a broom because he was a janitor.
Right.
But for him to sit there, activate the lightsaber, and withhold himself against Kylo for so long, no, Kylo honestly should have just.
And the thing that is interesting,
sliced him to pieces.
So I would agree with that, and it's one of the things that made me upset at first. But I feel like the longer I've had to look at it, and then the multiple watches of the movie and stuff like that, the reason why it doesn't bother me at all anymore is because the entire movie, they're making a really big deal. Like, there's multiple reasons, but like the whole movie, they show Chewbacca's bowcaster over and over and over. And it hits a stormtrooper. The stormtrooper goes flying 10 feet backwards. Like, they've shown us that a bunch of times, specifically in this movie, to throw that in your face that his bowcaster is strong.
Conja Club.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
It
just hit me.
They get eaten by that Rathtar real quick.
Dude, that was crazy. All right,
but yeah, obviously, at the end of the movie there, Chewie shoots Kylo with that bowcaster right in the gut. So he's wounded in a way that just regular people were getting thrown 20 feet, 10 feet down a hallway. Like, it's a nasty blast. So for starters, there's that.
Well, he's
also just killed his father, and he's already been saying how conflicted he is with what he calls being seduced by the light side.
Yeah.
So his force powers are probably at their weakest, realistically. Right. He's just done this thing. He doesn't know what's the right thing or what's the wrong thing to do. On top of that, he's fighting very cocky against Finn because Finn picks up that saber and wields it, and he's like, you have no chance.
Yeah.
And he starts teasing him. If you look at him, he's purposefully just whacking his saber around and just, like, toying with him while also, like, punching his own wound, which is that's a beast
insane.
move, dude. That's cool.
The reason being is because he's using the pain to keep him going and to make him stronger.
Yeah.
I love that. Every time.
I think that's great.
When he activates his lightsaber, he's getting ready to fight. He takes his fist and he punches his freaking blaster wound.
Right.
And he fights a little bit longer. He stops, takes a break.
Yeah.
And like turns and walks away.
And he's punching.
Punches his thing. And I'm like, every time he does that, I'm like, oh my God. I love that.
I do too.
That is such a awesome and honestly realistic to the Sith move and thing to do.
It's a nice touch.
I love it.
I'm glad they put that in.
Like, it is insane.
The last point about that fight that I wanted to make was just that the moment that Finn shows any sort of competence with that, he gets a nick off on Kylo, and immediately Kylo says, I'm done playing around. Yeah. And he, in one swipe, immediately after that, he disarms Finn, and then in the next swipe, he spins him around and slices his back. So, like, he did demolish him immediately. I think the whole controversy that was going on when the movie first came out was like unwarranted. But I think that it makes sense when you think of how arrogant he is, how cocky he was being, and how messed up he was. He was trying to toy with him.
Folds into the thing, and I agree with that. I mean, that's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah.
And it is true. I mean, he did have so much that was weighing him down anyway. So it's like, okay, do I still think that he should have toyed with him? No.
No, but it's very in his character.
Yeah. There's, I don't want to say every Sith, because there are multiple Sith that are that way, that will sit there and lead on a fight just because they're having a good time.
Right.
But like at the same time, you think about all these different Sith who would just and immediately end it.
I think a lot of the ones that we know of in that situation would have just killed him instantly.
Right. Exactly.
He was the Disney princess at the time. He was the spoiled brat who was throwing temper tantrums.
Right.
That's the kind of guy who's going to toy with that guy.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
No, and you're not wrong. I do agree with that. That's a really good point. Really good way to put it. So that's cool. But yeah, dude, I just can't get over here when he punches himself like in the wound.
I like that a lot.
Oh my god, it's just cool. Anyway,
we get BB-8 introduced to us in this movie too.
Cool.
I like BB-8.
He was definitely the more child-friendly droid. Obviously, we're in Disney.
Yeah, that's
but, like,
true.
You know what I mean? Like I feel
never
like he
thought
was
about
more
that, but yeah, you're right.
Compared
to all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, he was great. I liked his like the way like when Finn first met Rey, and oh crap, what was it? Was it when she was saying about him being in the Resistance or something like that?
Yeah.
And all you had was BB-8 like look down and then look at Rey and then look back down and then look back at Rey and then look back down. I thought that was great.
Yeah. He does the little.
He does the lighter thumb of when
the lighter
Finn
thumbs
gives him
up.
the thumbs up for helping him out.
That's
had that,
pretty cool.
which is awesome. It breaks your heart a little bit though when Finn tells BB-8 that Poe didn't make it.
Right.
And BB-8 lets his head down, and then he just slowly rolls off.
Yeah.
You know, like it makes your heart just kind of be like, oh, poor little guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But no, it was good. I mean, even when Finn and Rey first met, I love that because he's like thinking he's going to go help her while she's getting mugged by these two thugs to take the droid, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go help this damsel in distress," and then she beats the crap out of those guys. And he's like, "Wow, that was great!" And then she looks at him, and then she chases him, and he's like, "Go!" And he bolts, takes off running, thinks he's getting away, and she's out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and she like uppercuts him with her staff.
Yeah,
and I thought that was freaking great too. Like that was pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, no,
that's pretty cool.
Overall, the movie was good. Like I said, there's a lot of comedic stuff in there. You know, which helps a lot, makes it good.
Yeah, it moved along at a nice, quick pace too.
It did, and there wasn't like a whole lot of random gaps. I felt like, whereas some movies, Star Wars really isn't so bad for random gaps in movies. Whereas some movies you'll get like those times where it's like, well, what happened in between this and this? You know what I mean?
Right.
Star Wars has always been pretty good about keeping it, you know, back to exactly what it needs to be.
We had no, like, cantina scene, but we had sort of the next best thing with Maz's castle.
Maz's castle was the cantina scene.
Yeah. I think that one is...
You go back into all the different alien races that are there.
Yeah.
As well as the spies. You have your Resistance spy. And it was funny because me and you talked about that when you had the Resistance spy and the First Order spy. At the same time, they called
in the same place,
people. And how they were like, maybe they're just hanging out. They know that they're spies together. But they're like, hey... do you want to, I'm going to go make a call. Do you need to make a call real quick? Okay. And then they just go off and make the call, come back, and they're having a few drinks. You know,
it's definitely us if we worked on the opposite sides or whatever.
Oh, that's that droid. Don't forget to call your people. And then we'll go off, do our thing. No. But Maz's castle is definitely the cantina scene.
I think so, yeah.
Well,
yeah
they have the bar in there. They have the music playing. You have all these different races, which we've seen different races now, like those mosquito dudes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Remember, like the bugs.
There's like 3 or 4 of them at the table, yeah.
You know, so like you have those guys. So that's where we get that now.
Right.
And I still liked it.
I like
really
that a lot
liked
too.
Maz.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
She's awesome.
I like how she has the biggest crush on Chewie.
Yeah.
Where's my
that
boyfriend?
Wookiee? Oh, no, yeah, she's where's my boyfriend?
Yeah.
And then she's like, I love that Wookiee.
You know, there's a reason Chewie didn't come inside.
That's pretty good.
But no, I really like her. I think she's funny. And then when Han was like, don't look at anything. Or they're like, don't, crap.
He said, don't stare.
Don't stare at it for too long or stare at anything. And they're like, don't stare. And they were like, at what? Anything. And you go in and you have this little short orange woman with weird, like, huge glasses, made her eyes look normal. Mm-hmm. And she took her glasses off and she just had little sunken eyes, you know?
It's going to be fine.
So my cats just made apparently some big mess in the kitchen. And I'm trying to think about what could possibly be in there.
Oh.
Because you have the trash can, the broom, the mop, the
Oh,
chairs,
yeah. That was
that lamp I put up.
There was no shattering.
It's probably the trash can.
Yeah, it was a trash can. Yeah.
Or the refrigerator. It's Anakin, so it's hard to tell. No, but I really did like that. Her castle was freaking cool.
I thought her
castle. She had a
castle
whole
was
castle.
really neat,
What did you do? Don't think about it.
I liked the underground area.
Okay.
Hi, Bobo.
You talking about where the lightsaber was?
Yes.
Yes. That was pretty cool. I liked how the lightsaber called to Rey. Of course, it's going to call to Rey, but I did like that. It's so hard to just scoot him.
This is why we can't have nice things.
There you go. I like how the lightsaber called to her.
Yeah.
Like, she was doing her thing. She had obviously emotional because Finn left.
Right.
To go work for a pirate gang to take him away.
Yeah.
Because he's a little baby.
Mm-hmm.
But, it called to her via her hearing herself as a child when she first got left on Jakku.
Yeah.
Screaming and crying. It was like the whatever. And then so she goes down there, she opens the door, she finds the box, opens it up. I was really hoping there was just a hand in there.
The severed hand is still holding the...
Just the hand, dude.
Oh, just the hand myself. Flipping off all the fans.
Right. It's just the finger. Middle finger right there. No.
Well, they basically gave us the middle finger because he said, "How do you have this?" And she said, "It's a good story for another time."
And we never get it. Maybe we will.
Yeah, there'll be a spin-off show all about that.
About the lightsaber. It's Maz getting the lightsaber from Bespin and coming back. No.
He'll drop some bombshell in the last episode.
Right.
Plagueis has the lightsaber, and then the show gets canceled.
Right. Yeah, the first. It's so cool. We're like, oh wow, how did he get it? Oh, we don't know. Plagueis can't get it, you goober. He's dead. No, but
it'll be Osha.
It's Osha.
She's 157 years old.
No. I like that, and I like how she went through and saw all like the Force echoes, I guess, basically.
Yeah.
She saw the Jedi Temple burning, all that stuff. She saw the Knights of Ren with Kylo in front. She saw her, which, as a child, as her parents left. So I thought all that was pretty cool. Even in the scene of Luke with the cloak on, and he just takes his robotic hand and puts it on top of R2.
Right.
Assuming that's probably when he was going off to hiding. He was probably either telling R2 something or told him what was going to happen. He was getting ready to leave. He was saying goodbye. That's my assumption.
I think
it could be any time.
That was the scene where there's the stuff is on fire in the background. So I thought that was basically him, grieving after Kylo has killed the rest of the kids.
Yeah. It's either that's a very big possibility.
I assume that's the temple that's on fire. That's his last.
Was it? I thought there was just a fire over here, and it was like the fire light that was lighting him up.
No, I think that there's like structure on fire in the
well, that makes sense. I mean, that's a big possibility then.
I'm pretty sure.
But no, I like that. I like how she saw all that stuff go down and whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool. Too bad she didn't get the vision of Anakin killing all the younglings.
The Force works in mysterious ways, so.
Huh. No, but I did like how it called to her like that, and
it is neat.
But then she closed it. She said, I don't ever want to see that thing again or whatever, and I was like,
right,
come on, just take it.
It's
take it.
the telltale sign though of like you're the main character when you don't want the power that's being bestowed upon you.
Right. No. Then the whole when the First Order comes down to the planet. Does all the stuff. Once again, Kylo freezes Rey, takes her. Meanwhile, you have Han and Chewie and Finn fighting.
Right.
All the First Order troopers. You have the traitor scene.
Traitor!
Dude, that's so cool. I like that. Where he fights him with the lightsaber. That one's a little bit easier because this dude's swinging a.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Baton.
Nobody had a problem with that.
Yeah. You had Han who was like, "Can I see that thing again?" He took the bowcaster again. I really liked how he didn't even he just did like a no look shot on that one.
With his pistol. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Then the X-wings coming in,
so
gliding over the water. One
of my favorite, almost probably across everything, but they always made Poe out to be an ace pilot in this show. We've seen a couple people who are really good pilots in Star Wars. Most of them are Force users.
Right.
But up to this point, Wedge is probably our best known non-force user.
Yeah.
And Poe is blowing him out of the water.
How many ships? 10 ships that?
10 ships.
Plus people on the ground.
Yeah. In the Air Force, there's a rare medal called a fighter ace. You get a fighter ace for downing 5 enemy craft through your lifetime
career.
Through your career as a pilot.
50 of them.
that guy got 2 fighter aces in one combat. Yeah. What?
It's insane, dude. He is really good.
It was bonkers, dude.
I mean, in every movie, he's
they're making him
pilot,
to be a
crazy.
Monster.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
I really like Poe. He's definitely cool. No, but then we'll jump towards the end here.
Yeah.
Such a sad ending to me.
It is.
The whole thing was Leia wanted Han to
bring him back at any costs.
And Han wanted the same, but he also wanted to do this for Leia as well.
Right.
And so it's like, Leia kind of signed his own death wish.
In a way.
Which I say that, and I don't mean that as a bad way. But Han has been gone for years.
Han's habit is to run from his problems,
right.
And he basically tells her that we both did what we were good at.
Right.
He let her go back to leading an army, and he ran. And so he ran away from his problems. So that tells us probably had she not said, "Go get him back," he would have kept running from his problems and ignored this situation. So it is sad. For so many reasons.
Right.
But also, we know from the later movies that she was still right.
Yeah.
He did have good in him. She was not telling him to do something that was futile.
And we see
it was just the wrong time.
In all of the Star Wars, there's always somebody who has to die in order for the person who is bad to
come to realizations and whatever.
Else, right.
You're right.
So it's the needed sacrifice.
He did. He did.
And so that is one of the things that had to happen to kind of make a turning point to where he's going to feel conflicted either way, no matter what. He's already conflicted now. He feels even more, probably, whatever, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So it needed to happen. But and that's what the point I was getting at with the whole she signed his death wish. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah.
But like, if she didn't say that, he wouldn't have.
I agree.
He would have gone on and done what he usually does and ran or smuggled, which is what he did for years.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, okay, he goes up, he sees Kylo walking the bridge, so then he decides to go up to him and he yells Ben, which is his name, and they have this thing, and Han is telling him, come back, come home, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then Kylo's so odd. Like, he's that's when you can tell, like, he is conflicted at that time.
Yeah.
Like, it's his dad who's talking to him face to face after all these years. He hasn't wanted to see him. He knew he was going to be there. He knew what he had to do, and everything like that. And then he was like, I know what I need to do, but I don't have the strength to do it. And so it's like, okay, so are you talking about, like, you don't know if you can throw away the dark side, or you don't know if you can kill your own dad?
That's the thing, is he knows what he had to do. My interpretation is that he knows what he had to do to complete his path to the dark side. He doesn't have the strength to kill his own father, but he knew that that's what he was supposed to do. And Han heard that more favorably. I know what I have to do to quit the dark side. Yeah. So
well, that's exactly how Han read it.
Yeah.
And that's how the fandom was meant to read it.
I think so.
And so, Han reaches down, or he's like, "Will you help me?" And Han's like, "Yeah, right, yeah." He grabs his lightsaber, and at first, Kylo had his lightsaber loose in his hands.
Yeah.
Like, he was.
But it was
debating on giving it up. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Then the sun went out.
And that's what I like, is it was
all
light inside.
Literal foreshadowing.
Right. All the light inside disappeared, and Kylo's face went dark, and then he activated it right through Han. And when I first watched that, I saw this movie in the theaters, I think 3 times.
Yeah, okay.
3 or 4, I can't remember. It was a decent amount for the new ones. Every single time. The first time when all this happened, whatever, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Of course.
You do, but, like, you don't.
Yeah.
And so when they got on the bridge and he grabbed the lightsaber and then the light disappeared, I had this big knot in my stomach.
Of course.
And then when he killed Han, because I've watched Han on screen since I was a baby, right?
Yeah.
And I like Han. He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
You know, from the originals, he's definitely my favorite character. You know, I mean, I love Boba Fett and stuff like that, and I really like Luke, but I really liked Han. And so when he did that, dude, I cried so hard in the movie theater. And I was with my dad.
Yeah.
And then I went down here and I watched it with my mom, my stepdad, and then my brother Jose.
Okay.
And we were there, and I knew it was going to happen, obviously, because I've already seen the movie.
It still got you?
Dude, like, when it came down to Kylo walking out the bridge, I had that knot in my stomach again. And I was like,
it was even earlier.
I know what's happening. It's fine. I'm not going to cry. And then you get out there, and, like, they start talking, and as soon as Han starts talking to him, I get watery eyes. And I'm like, oh, come on, you know he's going to die. He's going to die. He's going to die. I kept telling myself that, like, you know, so I wouldn't freak out. And then he stabbed him again. Dude, cried again. And Jose looks at me, and he was like, oh. And he just puts his arm around me and kind of, like, just hugs me while I'm sitting here crying during this freaking movie. And I was like, thanks, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, it was so funny.
That's cute.
And then I watched it the third time. Same thing, but this time I had a knot way before this happened. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, you've seen this twice. Like, what are you doing? Same thing. Stabbed him.
We can survive this.
You know, we watched it together the other day, and I still had the knot in my stomach. It wasn't. I didn't cry. Like, I still got teary eyed. I got watery eyed.
Yeah, you did. You bawled your eyes out. I saw you.
Stop, dude. God. No, I did. No, I'm just kidding. No, like, you know, I got teary eyed again, but like, it's like, you know, obviously not that bad. It's kind of whatever.
Even like, the theater I was at, the when I watched it the first time, it was, I don't know if I've heard a theater so silent before.
Dude, it was same.
Quiet, and then
all three
and
times
then immediately afterward, just
packed.
the sniffles, like you heard everybody. Yeah. It was like, oh man. But I think the thing I really appreciated the most was the immediate afterwards, Han's just instantaneous forgiveness. That he reaches out, touches his son on the face very tenderly. It's okay, basically.
Yeah.
It's all right.
You did what you had to do.
And it just...
I still love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he said nothing. It's typical Han style. But I felt everything he said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. Yeah. Like, that's tough, man. That was crazy.
Chewie's yell. Dude, that's another thing that got me.
It was, yeah.
Like, you watch Han die, and it's the whole thing. The same thing. He reaches up, touches his face. I'm bawling. And I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. And then Chewie's, and I'm like, oh, it's not okay. You know, and I start, you know, I'm still crying, whatever. But, like, you know, so it's just so much pain that comes from that, because you have one, Han Solo, who, like I said, we've watched for years. We all love him. He dies. And then you have Chewie, who is literally Han's best friend. Han was Chewie's best friend and really only friend. Forever.
Yeah.
And he just watched him die in front of him. He can't do anything because he's so far away.
That was such a good job that it sounds weird to say, like, a good acting job because the guy's making a noise like an animal. But you literally could hear the cry, like a pained cry from him. And you're like, oh my God! Like, that was very moving for just being. And
this movie, this movie was obviously the first time we ever watched Han die, but it was the first time we saw Chewie get shot.
Yeah.
Ever.
Our heroes
took an L. Hurt.
Yeah, and we got our butts kicked in this movie.
And it was the first time we've ever seen that like that. Like, we've never seen Chewie get shot. Never seen him really come close to getting shot.
Yeah. They were never really seemed like they were in danger while they're raiding Death Stars and there's stormtroopers all around. Everybody's shooting them.
But now this happened, and then Han dies, and so it's just crazy.
Yeah, you're
but
right.
Yeah, watching, you know, and Chewie getting emotional is like, dude, that was like a gut punch because we don't see that.
You're right.
You know, but we also never expect Han to die.
Yeah.
At least not like that. You know, which granted, if Han died either way, it still would have sucked. But like seeing him get killed by his son, that's always hard.
Yeah.
You know, but then we get to the fight scene of the snow. And like I said, I like it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I really like the whole punching thing. That's freaking insane. The whole Rey, Kylo was reaching with the Force to pull the lightsaber out of the snow after he disarms Finn. And you know, it's just focused on him.
He's
and
like,
lightsaber.
"This is mine. That's mine.
That's my trophy, and another fine addition to my collection." And then it shoots past him this hard and goes straight to Rey. And she ignites it. They do their fight, whatever, and she ends up hurting him, you know. And I did like how, like, at first she was getting her butt kicked, like she was getting thrown around,
right?
And then she focused on the Force,
which was his fault because his big dumb mouth had to say,
"Yeah,
you need a teacher."
Yeah,
I can show you how to use the Force.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh yeah, I haven't even been using the Force.
Yeah, right.
Let me, because
just
before,
connect real quick.
like a day ago, she thought this was all a myth. Like she's heard stories of Jedi and the Force and all that, but didn't know any of it was real.
It's funny because like obviously the time that we know of, it's not like a day or nothing like that. Like there's time in between, but it's not a lot.
I know.
And it's the fact of like that she's like each day now that she has felt this Force,
right?
She has slowly like started being like, that's weird, I can feel it without really thinking about it,
right?
Let me just try things. And so she's slowly like tapping new
learning
levels of like the lower end of the Force, mind control stuff like that, which I say mind control is not lower. I mean, you have to, you know what I mean?
Well,
but like it took her a
couple tries,
to be able to get it to work.
But again, this goes back to the joke before. Yeah. It's not really a joke, but right. Obi-Wan also, that's his power. He's gifted at that. She is too.
Yeah.
You know what's funny too is when she's fighting Kylo, her stance, her lightsaber stance, right. Which this is the first time we've seen her fight without her staff. It looks a lot like Palpatine. She's doing these weird little jabby right. thrusts and stuff.
You had brought that up to me before, and I was like, no, it's not Palpatine. She's not doing the barrel roll. Do you know how
Rey just screams?
Do you know how
rolls?
Like crazy like Kylo would have like he would have been like what you know with having this new Jedi just doing crazy stuff.
That's awesome.
No, but she taps into the Force and ends up hurting him and whatever.
Yeah.
Hitting it. What'd she do? She stabbed through his shoulder and then hit him like in the leg or something like that.
Yeah, she clipped him a couple times.
And she got him across the face, which is where he got that scar from, and everything like that. So like it turned out to be okay.
Yeah.
I did like how she did stop. Like she literally had to be like, oh, let me, and just try to tap into the Force.
Yeah.
It obviously wasn't there the whole time.
Right.
And I did like how they kind of put that in there. She had to truly see through the Force to be able to do what she did to Kylo.
I agree.
And it's not bad. And I don't, and some people were like, no, she shouldn't have been able to beat him like that. But at the same time, you go back to the thing of he was hurt.
Everything we just said about Finn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's still following through.
I agree.
As well as he's not that strong.
No. He was still very conflicted. He doesn't know much.
Correct.
He's being trained a little bit by Snoke, but
right. Nowhere near like Sidious trained Vader, Dooku trained Ventress, Sidious trained Dooku. Well, Dooku didn't really need training except for tapping into the dark side, obviously. But like he was already a Jedi Master.
Right.
So like but you had Sidious trained Dooku in the dark arts as
right.
well, and prior, just how the Sith work. And so it's like he didn't have that. At least I don't think.
No,
that strenuous type of training.
We didn't see any evidence of that at all.
Right.
We just saw him, or we know from the stories that he had missions that he went on as leader of the Knights of Ren.
Right.
What fully that entailed, we don't know. Right. How many of that? How long was that?
Right.
We've had discussions before about how long did the Knights of Ren exist before this moment in the movie,
right.
And that's not an answer we have yet. So like even that's a big question mark, but. Yeah, very, very light in terms of like normal other Sith that
right.
we've seen, and that's part of what made them like this Romeo and Juliet aesthetic.
The way that I like
later.
To think about it is like you have Maul, who was a younger Sith apprentice. I mean, he wasn't young, but like he
right.
wasn't old. He was a younger Sith apprentice.
Yeah.
He was very strong. He was very battle oriented, which granted. The Dathomiri and stuff like that.
They made them that way from
their tribe was all about combat.
Right.
So like it makes sense, he's had all this combat training. But like then you have Obi-Wan who, and this is when the Jedi Order was big, and so obviously they had all the training they needed. They had constant training since they were children, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But so like you have a well-trained Padawan against a well-trained apprentice.
Right.
And they're fighting, and they're like doing these crazy fight moves. They're jumping all around, slicing, all this stuff, being
right.
smart as well as attacking hard, so on and so forth. If you put Maul in Kylo's position, Rey would have died before the movie started.
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
I think Maul solos everybody that's left.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like it's not even close.
I mean, it's not. You can't even compare it. That's why I said before the movie started. So but it equals out to a very good face to face.
I think so too.
You do have a girl who is not trained against a Sith who is a little bit. Obviously, you can see that he's trained. Obviously, has trained.
Right.
But who is a little bit more well trained with lightsaber combat, but is still not trained enough to truly destroy a fresh Jedi.
Right. For sure.
What I mean? So it definitely, they did a good job at pretty much leveling the battlefield almost with the way it works.
I agree. I mean, if anything, if you wanted to like really stretch it and say that it's crazy, I think it's probably not any more believable that a farm boy with zero training, and spent one day with an old man before the old man died could defeat the Dark Lord of the Sith and hold his own against Sidious, I guess.
I mean, he had Yoda that trained him, whatever he went
as a backpack for a little bit.
Right, so he had a little bit more training.
Lightsaber combat,
which we saw in
which
episode
is
5,
what he did to fight against Vader.
Yeah, but he went in episode 5 and lost, like, hard.
Yeah.
So it's
his training was losing.
He nicked Vader.
Yeah.
On that little catwalk before Luke got his hand cut off.
Yeah.
So like, okay, well he got a score, but that entire fight he got his butt kicked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like he had that little bit of training.
That's true.
From Obi-Wan for a couple days.
After that, he's like, I need to learn this so that I can fight this guy again.
And Yoda, and that was the whole thing, is Yoda and Obi-Wan both were like, he's not ready.
Yeah, that's true.
He's gonna die.
They were right.
And they were 100% correct.
Yep.
So like at least he had a little bit of training before he decided to go up against the Dark Lord.
Yeah.
Whereas Rey had
essentially
Maz
nothing.
Kanata say, you can feel it. I know you can.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously we saw like Rey, Finn thought she was a damsel in distress and all this, and she could hold her own pretty well.
I mean, she could fight.
Without
she was
saber.
a lone girl who grew up by herself.
She's the definition of scrappy. So like
very much so.
Yeah.
Like she can hold her own. She is combat oriented for what she is. And so that
because
helps.
of how she grew up,
right? And that helps.
So
I don't have a big problem with her being
basically
able to
beating him,
Kylo Ren at the moment.
I think so
like
too.
I said, we said this 3 times. He had issues.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
If he was in his prime at that moment, and she had also just picked up, that saber.
Yeah.
Maybe things would have been different.
I think it would have been different. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they fall in love.
Oh, not yet. We don't know that yet.
Rey and Kylo.
We'll see that next week.
Kissing.
Maybe.
Right in front of her grandpa.
Oh.
All
right. Well, that's a decent spot. We'll take a little break here, and then we'll jump back with a new fun game.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, welcome back in to this new game we're going to be playing here today.
It's called Office Boy.
Oh, Office Boy.
I'm just kidding.
That's a nice new game.
Papers.
I give us like a interesting, or not even interesting usually, but just some kind of a fun name for each of the little segments or whatever.
Yeah.
I call this one the Pun Awakens. Because the Force Awakens.
Oh.
We just did the Force Awakens.
I get it now.
Okay. So yeah, this is going to be just we're going to be, I don't know, I guess kind of like a try not to laugh kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're going to be hitting each other with Star Wars themed dad
jokes that we've
cringy
made
jokes.
up or jokes that we found.
I did legitimately write a couple.
Okay.
And most of these are just ones I found.
I am so bad with making something up like that. So
these
are like something that was online, whatever. So
they're all so cringy and stupid, and I don't know if any of them are going to make you laugh.
Right.
But
I laugh at anything. That's the bad part.
I'm very curious if you can even tell which ones I did and which ones are not. But why don't we'll just go back and forth?
Yeah.
So why don't you hit me with one and we'll see what it's all about.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
What do you call a pirate droid?
What?
An R2D2.
I like it. I like that one.
I like that one a lot.
All right. I don't know how much overlap we're gonna have too. If I say one that's on your list, you just.
I'll say it again.
That's a better idea.
Yeah, no.
All right. Well, why did the stormtrooper buy an iPhone?
Why?
He couldn't find the droid he was looking for. Like an Android. You get it? Android?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different kind of phone.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
That was alright. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Why couldn't Luke find love?
This better not be what I think it is.
It's definitely what you think it is.
God dang it. Tell me why.
He was looking in all the wrong places.
God dang it. I'm so upset.
You say it all the time.
I'm so angry right now. That's terrible. All right, here's one I wrote. I shouldn't have told you that, in case you hate it. What did Obi-Wan get Jocasta Nu for her birthday?
What?
A map of Camino. You gotta be a real Star Wars fan to get it.
Be a real Star Wars fan.
Do you get it?
Understand that?
It's pretty good. It's all right. It's okay.
It's all right. That's not bad. That's pretty good. All right.
Can you imagine if she was what her face actually was like when she heard the news? Obi-Wan found this planet called Camino, and she's like, "Oh,
it's not in our computer. There's no way. He just picked a planet." You bring me the data file on that planet right now. All right.
Her whole life just got crushed.
Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready. What do you got?
Which Star Wars character sells hot dogs?
Tell me.
Admiral Snack Bar.
Yeah, okay. I'd like to meet Admiral Snack Bar. I
could go for a hot dog.
I could go for an Admiral Snack Bar.
Just the whole snack bar.
I think he and I would be really good friends. You ready for bathroom humor?
Yeah, of course.
What's Yoda's advice for going to the bathroom? Do or do not. There is no try.
Okay. That's all right. That's all right. Let's see.
Okay. All right. He's flipping pages, folks. He's page 2 already.
Going through my document here.
It's got an Excel spreadsheet over there. He's crunching numbers.
Best jokes, not so good.
He's already on page 2. What does that mean?
It's not looking good, buddy. I think the business is going to tank.
So you can see from this graph I have.
We need to have a finance meeting. Is BB hungry?
No. Because he BB-8.
BB-8. You already heard that one.
No.
Oh, it's just pretty good, huh?
It's just... All right.
Anyway.
I'm still on bathroom humor.
Oh, that's fine, dude. Yeah, I'm just jumping around.
What do you call Chewbacca after he goes to the bathroom?
What?
Chocolate chip Wookiee.
Because all the dingleberries.
Yeah, because of this stuff. Yeah. He probably doesn't wipe that. I wrote this one too. He probably doesn't wipe that good. I don't feel like he does.
I don't think so. He doesn't even wipe. He just...
He can't, right? He's just a
He
dog.
probably can, but the hair gets in the way.
Chocolate? Well...
What'd you say?
I don't want to talk about it. Let's move on.
What did Han Solo say to the waiter who recommended the haddock?
The waiter who recommended the haddock?
Yeah.
I don't know. What did he say?
Never sell me the cods.
I like that one.
That's pretty good.
It's a kind of fish.
It is a kind of fish. Good
yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Are you telling them or are you just...
I was learning that. I was establishing that in my own headcanon. All right. Why did Luke always carry a pencil?
Why?
In case he needed to draw his lightsaber.
Pretty good.
All right.
That's pretty good.
All right.
That's pretty good. I like that one. Obi-Wan and Luke went to a Chinese restaurant, but Luke couldn't use the chopsticks.
Huh.
So Obi-Wan said, "Use the forks, Luke."
This one had a story to it.
It did.
Yeah.
Did you like it, though?
It was all right.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It felt like a real thing. Like, that's probably happened.
Probably. Do they have Chinese, you think?
Are we going to be on... I can go to food. I got a couple food ones.
Go ahead. I mean,
What's a Jedi's favorite dessert?
A Jedi's favorite dessert?
Yeah. Obi-Wan cannoli. It's not
All right.
that great.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Hello?
Kitty?
How does Darth Vader like his steaks?
Rare. Like him.
Well done, dun, 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 dun.
Could you imagine being that waiter?
Just waiting the whole... Well, I get it.
He's got to breathe in between every one of those duns, too.
Done, done, done.
Waiter's looking at his watch. It's like, any day. I got other tables.
All right, we're close, pal. Good job. You can pick up your steak tomorrow.
All right. I like this one. Because I made it up. What's a bounty hunter? What's a bounty hunter's favorite kind of pasta?
What?
Boba Fettuccine.
I have a Boba Fett one in here.
Yeah. It's not that hard to think of these.
It's not.
They're really all the same kind of cringe.
What is R2-D2 short for?
The first thing I thought of is so Warwick Davis can fit inside. What's your joke?
Because he has little legs.
Oh, that was a nicer thing to say.
It was nicer.
Yeah, mine was me. I'm still on food. This one's inappropriate. Why did a group of young Ewoks get a job at the bakery? Because they already had experience making Wookiee cookies. It's like an Ookie cookie. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you don't know, you don't want to know.
Cookie.
So,
I hate that term.
It's so gross.
So much.
It's so bad. Imagine the Ewok. Never mind, don't imagine that.
All right, you ready?
Ootini.
Ootini. Which program do Jedi use to open PDF files?
Tell me.
Adobe One Kenobi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have the subscription to that. What do you call a droid that takes the long way around?
What?
R2-D2.
That's a pretty good one. I like that one.
All right.
What was General Grievous's favorite band?
General Grievous's favorite band? I don't know, is it?
Weezer. I like that one.
That's the first one that got me.
I like that one a lot.
That was good.
When I was reading these, I was like, that's there you go.
I like that one. You remember who Babu Frick is, the little guy?
Yeah.
From
yeah.
sequel. Okay. It's important, you know. That wasn't a joke. Why did Babu Frick sit on a clock? Because he wanted to be on time. He was tired of being late.
The silence.
I heard the cricket.
Let's see. How do you stir fry on Endor?
How do you stir fry on Endor? I don't know.
With an Ewok.
Yeah, it was right there, wasn't it?
Sure was. You're on Endor and everything.
Why is Yoda such a good gardener?
Because he has a green thumb.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, buddy. I have that one in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yep.
Why was the Millennium Falcon easier to fly in The Force Awakens?
Why?
Because it was hands-free. Hans-free. Depending on how you want to say it.
After The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Because Han died.
Oh.
Whew.
That was terrible. I know this guy that cried like a baby when Han died.
Dude, what a loser.
Like a bunch of times.
What a freaking
Even
loser.
after noticing it.
What, like probably like 3 or 4 times?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. Loser. As I cry right now.
A single tear rolls down his cheek.
What a loser.
Camera, zoom up on his cheek. I don't have that many left. Why did the stormtrooper buy a GPS?
Why?
Because he kept missing all his targets.
Like Target store?
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of corny.
All right.
Oh,
so
right.
this is more of a sentence.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I got it. Thank you for preparing me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with jokes about Star Wars is difficult.
Oh.
Sometimes they seem a bit too forced.
But what's the...
That's it.
Oh. What's the Jedi's favorite car?
I don't know. Oh, the mini-chlorian.
It's a Toyota.
Oh, that makes more sense. Oh, hey. That's Grogu.
Toy Grogu.
It's some sort of German car, I think. Where did Luke get his cybernetic hand?
Oh, I don't know.
From the secondhand store.
I gotta go there.
Same.
Why did Anakin become an evil florist?
Why?
So he could join the daffodil side.
Alright. Because Yoda was in charge of the jokes. Why was the punchline in the title?
I knew what you were doing and I couldn't stop it.
You're welcome for that one, buddy. You're welcome for that one. I think we'll go 1 and 1 more here.
Alright, I'll give you one more. Why did the droid go to the doctor?
Why?
It had too many bites. Like a different kind.
That's
like
pretty good. That's
all right.
Like
What's
that
yours?
Let's see what we got here.
Oh, yeah. Flip to a different page.
Why didn't any of Luke's marriages last?
I don't know why.
He always followed Obi-Wan's advice. Use divorce, Luke.
You know, that lisp will get you every time.
Use divorce, Luke.
Use divorce.
We'll do one more. I got one more.
Oh.
I like. I think.
Okay. Then what do you call a Jedi in denial?
What?
Obi-Wan cannot be.
Wow. How do Ewoks communicate over long distance?
An Ewok-talkie.
That's it, buddy. That's it, buddy.
I kind of like that one. It's obvious, but I like that one. You got? I'm done. I'm dried out. You got any honorable mentions?
Let's see. How do Tusken Raiders cheat on their taxes?
How do Tusken Raiders cheat on their taxes? Mm-hmm. Ooh. Tell me.
They always single file to hide their numbers.
That's great. That's a good one to end on. I like that one.
Why should you never drink the blue milk from Mos Eisley Cantina? It'll give you the Kessel runs for 12 parsecs.
That one hits close to home for old Shawnee boy.
It does.
Oh, man.
And that's where we'll end.
I hate the Kessel runs. God dang.
There's so many. I have 101 jokes in this thing.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So.
We gotta post that. Save that.
Yeah.
Put that on your fridge.
Definitely save it.
Read one to your cat every day.
Right? They'll laugh. They love me, right?
Well, some of them might be about them.
That's true.
Huh.
I like the Admiral snack bar, though. All right. Well, good episode again. Good stuff. I like this. The jokes were fun. Some of them were funny. I was just trying not to laugh. Some of them were just like super cheesy. So
sometimes the really obvious corny ones, that's what gets me for no reason.
Yeah. I like it. All right.
Good time.
Well, cool. Well, we appreciate everybody for listening, whether it's at work, at home, or on the way to work. If you're watching us on the big screen, goodness, be sure to hit like and subscribe for us. And as always, may the laughs be with you.
Thanks. Goodbye.